Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. Day 11 with my mom's 99 V70. I'm on my way to a shop to see if they can help me with my angle gear mounting situation to get this drive shaft installed. I start the car and look. I have a temperature reading, 59 degrees. Woohoo! Okay, I'm here at Master's Touch on Manal in Albuquerque, and there's my mom's car here. I'm getting ready to change the rear wiper blade. Looks like it had a 16 on there. The replacement I put on there is a 17, so that's good to go. Now I'm going to change the front wiper blade on the driver's side. Somebody had a 20 on there, but a 21 belongs. And man, that 1 inch feels like a lot when it's wiping the window. Now it appears to me that that wiper blade is up maybe one spline. So when it sweeps up, it's probably hitting its trim. So I'm going to pull a bolt out of it and adjust it down 1 notch. Next, I'm going to install this collar I got from the salvage yard back on the bottom of the steering. As you can see how these deterioration starts. Those mounts start cracking, then they break loose, then that thing is loose. This one, they're not broke loose yet, so be gentle when you screw those on. Okay, the shop guy was kind enough to let me in the garage bay, and you can see a little bit about this angle gear situation, and that's the coupling that he swapped over. The splines fit, it was the same height, so I should be good to go on this angle gear. Alright, here's the adapter on the early 98 cars. As you can see, it didn't have that lip on the mounting point, and this splines were the same on the late 98 and 99 models, so we swapped this over and it looks like I'm going to be good to go. So this is the back where the shaft mounts, the VC, and it comes back here, and then it goes into the rear gearbox, and then you can see the rear axles, and they look to be in decent shape. Alright, the mechanic said he's going to check the speed of the wheels to make sure that they're turning at the same speed and the differentials are not different from the angle gear that I installed. So we're ready to run that test. Through the ABS system, if you have a upscale computer system like this mechanic does, they can check the wheel speeds right there on their screen to make sure everything's running right. While we was under here, we changed the oil, and now I'm going to put a splash panel under here. This little air deflector was not tucked in there properly, so I'm going to put a couple screws in there when I get back to the house. This temp sensor here and this sensor here is supposed to go in these little miniature grills that go on the front of the car, and since they're not there, people commonly, he said, stick them up here, the mechanic. So I'm gonna stick those back in those grills if I get those grills to stay in place. This is the oil out of the car. I'm gonna save it and use it to flush that bad motor out after I do the head gasket. Car seems to be riding perfect. I don't feel no vibrations or anything. And the most noticeable problem you'll have with the all-wheel drive system is when you make sharp turns. If the system is off, it'll cause the tire to jerk or the steering wheel to jerk a little bit, and you may hear the tire even chirping. And the mechanic said you could tear one of these angle gears up in less than 50 miles. So he said check for slack when I get to my location in 5 or 6 miles, and if there's going to be any damage, it would have already started by then. Okay, the mechanic told me to check for some gearbox wear when I got to where I was going to try to wiggle the shaft around, and I really couldn't, so I'm doing a drain and fill on the transmission right now. The best way to service these transmissions is to drain the fluid out, fill it back up, about 3.5 quarts comes out, then drive 50 miles, do it again, drive 50 miles, do it again. So you do that 3 times. It's a very gentle way of changing and refreshing the fluid. The owner's manual recommends that you never replace the fluid, but they also don't give a lifetime warranty on the transmission. So I'm here to make the transmission last longer, I hope. So this is the dipstick that you fill it back up with. So I'm getting ready to pour 3.5 quarts back in the transmission. The transmission bolt was just about spotless. I don't think I've ever seen one that clean before. So let me go ahead and fill the fluid up. Okay, I had an air deflector I pulled from a car in the salvage yard. So I went on ahead and installed it. Doesn't protect much, supposed to help guide air. It came off of a C70, so it bolts up there. Not sure if it's perfect. But I did plug that sensor in there. And on the other side, I plugged the sensor in that air grill, the one that gives the ambient temperature. So I got the grill installed there, the grill installed there. Next, I'm going to replace this cracked headlight lens and the reflector behind it to see if my painted reflector will project out good enough. And you got to be careful removing that. Those things are real brittle and they may break, and you'll be replacing that as well. I got this light assembly loose. I still got this tab, that back tab, and the locking tab. Got a little spring under it. And that tab, one goes there, one goes there, one goes in the fender back there, and then the locking tab goes behind this part of the headlight. So let me go ahead and remove this lens and get that reflector changed. I got the lens off, and I remember that this is the light that's shiny. So I believe I have the lens to replace it. Now I have to pull that light off to change the reflector. So that one gets the reflector, this one gets the lens. Had to use the razor blade to cut the gasket off of the light lens. Never had that happen before. Went to pull this corner light. Joke's on me. If you look down there, you'll see that wire hanger. Somebody actually wired this light back to the fender. So I need to take that loose so I can get this corner light off, and may or may not get a replacement for it. Well, turns out this passenger side light that is not shining appears to be an aftermarket light. The Volvo clips are black, these are chrome. Also, it came from a salvage yard somewhere, because that's a salvage yard mark, and one of the bolts was extra short compared to the other two, which I have the proper long ones. But to top it off, none of them were tight. They were all finger tight. So let me go ahead and pull this lens off and change that reflector. I don't know if you can see the inside of this, but it looks horrible. Maybe even looks like somebody painted it like I just did. So let's see if mine lasts any better than that one did. Now these things, they have a clip here. They snap in here and they snap in at the bottom. So let me try to get that out without breaking into these bulbs. Have some bare wires back here. These bulbs have coating on these wires are deteriorated off. So I'm gonna put a little electrical tape in there, and I'm gonna look for a harness to replace that next time I go to a salvage yard or check a couple of part suppliers. There's that last post that secures that thing on. Be careful not to touch those bulbs with your hands. I had a few of those Volvo clips, so I only had to use 2 of the aftermarket ones. So I'm gonna pull this one off the side, put it on top. In case I've run into a couple more of those Volvo clips, I'll just pop them in on the top. Okay, I got that headlight back together. It still doesn't look as shiny as that one. So we'll see if it throws any light, and I'll keep my eye open and probably get that reflector replaced with a new one sometime soon. Okay, I pulled that cap, pulled that bolt, and adjusted that wiper down on the windshield a little lower so it wouldn't hit the side when it comes up to the top. Power seat controls not working properly, so I got a seat switch pack and trim out of the junkyard, so I'm gonna swap that over. Hopefully that'll solve my problem. So you reach under there, front of the seat, and unplug the green wire. Then you grab the front of this and jerk it up, push it back, and that lifts up and out of the way. So let me get that off and swap it over. Okay, usually these work without power. It's going forward, it's going back, it's going up, it's going down, it's going down, it's going up. Alright, this one seems to be working great, so I'm going to go ahead and set my memory on 1. Hit memory and press 1. I should be set. I'm going to try to change the fuel filter if I could get under the car. The way it is, it's been sitting for about 2 hours. I checked the end of the rail. There's no pressure there. So let me check my coolant level and go back there and see if I can get to that fuel filter where the car's sitting. My coolant wasn't low enough to trigger my low coolant light. So I hope it works. I'll check it again after a stop or two. Even though the front of the car is up on ramps, it looks like I might be able to get under here to get to that fuel filter. So I'm going to try to reach under there and change that real quick. Okay, on this V70 all-wheel drive, the filter is right there above the axle. It's easy to replace. You pull the connections off, pull the bracket, put another one in. The strange thing is that the flow goes from the passenger side toward the driver's side. So I had to verify that to make sure that the last filter was installed properly. So there it is, it's installed. The other filter was only about 5 years old, so that's okay. I was noticing that the tow hitch hook pull was pointing down, which it should not have been. So somebody must have tied the vehicle down with it, and they tore the metal tub in it. So I'm gonna put a jack under there, jack that back up, hopefully bend it straight. But I will let my mom know that that's been damaged. Well, the car's rolling nice and smooth. For some reason, I guess I messed up my windshield washer bottle sensor. I filled it up and the light came on. And it's cruising down the highway, nice, smooth, and quiet. And it looks like I have 2 headlights now. So the headlight's working for now. And the one on the driver's side seems to be adjusted a little too high. I'll need to lower that. As you can see, I have a right and a left light now. So let's see how long that lasts. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.